Now, for years, musicians have been rallying against music streaming services such as Spotify. They say they aren't being paid a fair rate for their music, which, after all, is why many of us subscribe to sites like Spotify in the first place. The company doesn't reveal how much it pays artists, but it's understood they pay less than 1% to stream. In fact, it's 0.00318 cents to be exact, meaning for every 1,000 streams, an artist is paid just over $3. It's long been an issue that only musicians have complained about, but now comedians and comedy writers are getting in on the act too, demanding Spotify pay them more for their work. The move didn't go down well with Spotify, which removed the works of comedians including Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish and John Mulaney. Well, Jim King is the chief executive of Spoken Giants, who manage a number of comedians' relationship with Spotify and other platforms. And Lewis Black is perhaps one of America's most famous comedians right now. If you're a regular viewer of The Daily Show, you'll certainly know who he is. They both joined me a little earlier to talk about their battle against the music streaming giant. Jim first.
Well, Spoken Giants is a collective rights organization for spoken word, like comedy. And we are in have been in negotiations with Spotify to create a license arrangement with them for the underlying literary works for comedians. And just out of the blue on Thanksgiving Eve, they took down hundreds of comedians' works. And we are working to get back to the table because we don't understand why they took this aggressive move.
They say the talk should continue, and that's what they're seeking, further negotiations. But you're saying this is a kind of preemptive strike.
Yes, it honestly is penalizing our great comedians like Lewis and so many others that we represent. And I just don't fathom why they would take this move. We had offered them a royalty-free license to move forward during negotiations, and nothing has happened. So looking forward to talking to them again.
Lewis Black, a lot of people have found their work effectively taken off Spotify as a result of this dispute, which presumably wasn't the intention when it began.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the intention. What's odd is that my work was taken off, and then they took a bunch of folks' a lot of people's off, and they put mine back on, which was strange. I guess they thought I was replacing all comedy. It was very odd and disturbing, and it really is kind of one of the things that drew me in, because you're kind of wandering about on your own. You don't really pay attention to Spotify this or that and the other. And I went, wait, look at this. This is people were writing in. We're not seeing your stuff, and so to me it was important to start to check in on this. I mean, we write these things. These are written. There are hundreds of comics, young comics especially. This is the way in which they're found. This is the way in which they are able to actually make an income and survive. And I think that Spotify really just has to bring us back onto it and allow the folks to be heard, and let's sit down and negotiate. And what I really would like to do at this point is to kind of bring my stuff down off of there, because it just seems odd that I'm on there and they've taken all, and I'd like to be off there until they bring everybody back, because they've done it in a mishmash kind of a way, and it doesn't seem to have anything to do with, there's no idea of why they did what they did.
So, Lewis, you're demanding, this sounds paradoxical, you're actually demanding that Spotify take down your work unless they're prepared to treat everybody in the same way.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it kind of, I don't know if that has any effect on anything, but my initial reaction when I was looking around was I was going, there are people who, Robin Williams, is not on there. Well, he should be on there. But I am on there. No, I mean, and there are hundreds that I've started noticing weren't on there, and I just think it's wrong. And if I'm on there, it looks odd. And it not only looks odd, it's wrong. I think that I have to stay off. If they've been put off, I have to get off.
There are some great comic monologues that people think of, and some great fine American comedians who were known for their monologues. And then when they get recorded, of course, on records in the good old days, CDs, whatever, you get royalties. But presumably that's the problem here, Jim, with this kind of system at the moment. If you write lyrics for a song, or indeed if you record something like that for a commercial release, you automatically get the money. The system is there. Presumably at the moment, there isn't a system.
Yes, actually, we're modeling ourselves after the music industry. I used to be a part of BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated, who does collect for songwriters and composers and lyricists. And we are the equivalent of a BMI. And what's happening is, yes, comedians are being paid for their sound recording, but they're not being paid for their writing. And for the last 7 or 8 decades, songwriters have been paid for both. And it is just only fair and appropriate that the people we represent, the Tom Seguras, the Lewis Blacks, the Patton Oswalts, the Bob Hope estate, and so many more should be paid for their original creative works, their underlying writing.